Silicon Valley Bank crashes. Now the entire world is talking about a bank run. But why? A ton of banks listen to the central bank for guidance on where to store their assets. The government touts that inflation is transitory and that rate hikes should not be expected. Suddenly, inflation prints come in way higher than expected by the government. This causes the central bank to increase their rate at which they lend money to other banks. This causes the value of government bonds to decrease. This is because when rates are up, you can purchase bonds at higher interest rates. But when interest rates are low, the bonds become cheaper because they have lower interest rates. So now interest rates are up as the Fed scrambles to fight inflation. But what happens to the banks that bought all those bonds on the advice of the government? On paper, nothing, because the bonds are a special type where if you hold them till maturity, you are not legally required to mark the losses. But for some banks, the losses are too much to bear. Ergo, Silicon Valley Bank crashes and everyone panics. Is this the start of a bank run? Everyone asks. Well, no, because the government stepped in and insured depositors, quelling the fears of many. But despite that, the government reported a few weeks ago that over 200 banks were feeling similar pains to that of SVB because they too had bought bonds before rate hikes. So what happens if the government does not step in and help? Well, if rates continue to increase, the losses incurred by banks holding bonds that they bought before rate hikes will continue to lose value. If this continues, then potentially hundreds of banks could become insolvent. To make sure that depositors don't lose their hard-earned cash, the government will need to print trillions to backstop losses. This could lead to hyperinflation. Well, if the dollar loses value, then what could potentially increase in value? Bitcoin. And that's the argument to why Bitcoin may drastically increase in value in the near future. Now, this theory is filled with a lot of assumptions based off potential outcomes. Bitcoin has not even increased in value that much at all recently because everything is priced in, proving the uncertainty around this case. But maybe it's just too early. But if this were to actually happen, it would be devastating for the majority of dollar holders, wiping out tons of wealth from those who have not diversified into Bitcoin, meaning the average middle-class family not up to date with tech news is in a very dire position. Hopefully, if anything happens, it doesn't happen too quickly for the sake of everyone. But who knows for sure? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you.